Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Can you guys hear me well and see me well? I hope you guys are having a great um Monday so far. I can't even get it together and I just got here. Can you guys hear me well? Hear me well and see me well before we get started. Can you guys hear me well and see me well before we get started? Yes or no? Let me see. I had a here we go. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me well? See me well? Yes? No? Yes? Can you guys hear me before I proceed? Yes. Alrighty. Alrighty. Welcome back. Welcome back, guys. I know I've been gone for a while, but we are back and ready to get started for more true crime stories. As you guys see, I got a nice tan here. The sun beat me up. But I wanted to discuss this. This is going to be a two-part show, okay? This is one of those stories that we're going to be following through very closely. As for those that are watching, you can hear me? Okay. For those of you guys that watch me typically on Bigo, you guys will not be seeing me at all, okay? You will only see me checking on my host or anything like that, but as far as a live show, you guys will not see me anymore. So don't look for me, okay? You will only be able to see me here, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and that's it. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok is the only places that you guys will see me. You will no longer see me. And if you do see me later in a few months, maybe next year, that's when you will see me. But you won't see me outside of that for any type of content. So if it's any stories like the Kimani case, Naziah Harris case, any of those cases that I have been covering with you guys over there, the only way that you can get them is here on YouTube or any other platform. I love you guys. I swear I do. But I have to focus on my other platforms, okay? Simple as that, all right? Girl, you done tanned. I did. Okay, the sun whooped me, okay? The sun whooped me, y'all, I swear. Alrighty, let's get into this case. Now, this is the case of Austin Drummond. I don't know if you guys have been watching this case, but this is a very big case of a man that killed a family of 4 and went on a week-long manhunt. And they're starting to kind of give us the background of who this man is. And first, in part 1, we are going to go over his background. Part 2, we're going to go over the details of the actual crime in which he committed outside, hey Elizabeth, outside of all the other crimes that he has done over the years. Okay, this is going to help us be able to build a character of this person. And I have to tell you guys right now, his character is trash. Okay, he should have never been able to be out on the streets. The justice system not only failed society, but they failed this family. Okay, so here is the case timeline. This happened out there in Lake County, Tennessee, and authorities say that he killed 4 people. Adriana Williams, who is 35, and then James Matthew Wilson, who is 33. Courtney Rose, who is 28, and then a teenager by the name of Braden Williams, who was 15 at the time. They were located in a home out there in Lake County. So the family had been brutally murdered, and their deaths had sparked a instant investigation. So the murders had occurred sometime around July the 29th, and authorities had then picked up and launched an investigation. Okay. On that very same day, something very odd happened. They then discovered a baby that was alone, that was related to this family. The baby was found alone in an abandoned car seat in a stranger's yard out in a whole other county, which is Dyer County, Tennessee. Okay? This baby is all alone. So it made authorities try to figure out, why did he save the baby out of everybody? So fortunately, the infant was unharmed, and authorities had speculated that Austin Drummond might have left the baby behind while killing the rest of the family, and also raised more questions about the possible motive behind these killings. So moving on to Thursday, July the 31st, Drummond was then identified as the primary suspect. So on that Thursday, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, which is the TBI, they had then identified officially Austin Drummond as the primary suspect of these murders. So Drummond, he was quickly added to the TBI's most wanted list, and then there was this extensive manhunt and search for him. So the local, state, and federal authorities did coordinate together in order to find him. So on Saturday, August the 2nd, as the search for him began to intensify, there was a woman by the name of Tanika Brown, 29, and Giovante who is also 29. Giovante Thomas is his name. And they were arrested with accessory after the fact to first degree murder. Okay. Now, Tanika Brown, she also faced additional charges for tampering with evidence. So, maybe because the babies don't talk. It could be because the babies don't talk, but honestly and truly, I think that he did this. I think he saved the baby. I think the motive has something to do with the baby. Or he just didn't have a heart to kill the baby. And we can also go into some other things as well, where he does have some street connections where he knew he couldn't kill the child because he was going back to prison anyway, which we're going to get into in a bit. So authorities also suspected that these two, people that helped him, they were helping Drummond to evade the authorities while helping him to hide or providing him with assistance in order to escape, possibly even feeding him and things of that nature. So on Monday, August the 4th, a third person was then arrested. So Dira Sanders is her name, and she was arrested in connection to this case as well. Now, when it comes to her charges, they're saying that she possibly assisted him to evade in some way as well. So on Tuesday, August the 5th, there was a breakthrough in this case where there was the Jackson, Tennessee neighbors there did say that they did spot the suspect. Okay. They spotted him on a ring camera, actually walking through someone's yard. So they then proceeded to call the authorities. So authorities do believe that Drummond had been hiding in the Jackson area since August the 3rd, and he was possibly living in some form of vacant pool house on someone's property, possibly. So when Drummond was then apprehended, he was then found, his hair was wet, and he shaved off all of his hair in order to disguise himself during this search. So he is now facing dozens of charges, including first-degree murder, kidnapping, and he could possibly receive the death penalty. Now, here's where things get a little bit sticky in this case, okay? First of all, this man should have never been in society in the first place. This is a career criminal. And when I say career criminal, this is a career criminal since a juvenile. He has been in and out of different facilities, whether it be for drugs, whether it be for crime, whether it be for robbery, whether it be for mental health. He has sat down in jail for it since a child. Okay. He had already just now done many, many years. All right. Now, Drummond, with this violent history, it include one of the biggest cases in which he had, which happened out in 2013, where he was convicted of robbery. So on July the 31st of 2013, he had robbed a Circle K, which is a convenience store, at gunpoint. So at around 12:30 a.m., he had entered into the Circle K, and then this happened out there in Highland area in University Street in Jackson, Tennessee, by the way. So he was wearing some black clothing, a baseball cap, and he walked around the store before he pulled out the handgun. And then he ordered the clerk to open up the register. So he then took $44, and you got to be some type of stupid, okay, to throw away your life for $44. Let that 40. I didn't see people just the other day. I talked about I blogged about a woman who killed someone who burnt the house down or did something crazy for $7. He did this in 2013 for $44. I'm starting to believe that criminals don't really know how to gauge what their life is worth. So if you want to put it simple, his life was worth $44 because this $44 had then caused him to have to do a long stint in jail. Okay, so he took the $44 from the till and he then lifted the cash drawer, but there was no more money that was there for him to get. So the clerk by the name of Candace Burham, she had testified that Drummond had pointed the gun at her and threatened her life. And he then made a statement, "Man, y'all tripping." So after he realized that there was no additional cash that was left in the drawer. So the surveillance video from the store had then showed Drummond entering the store and committing the robbery. He was then seen holding the gun in his right hand and then was later identified in court by the victim, Candace, who was working the register that day. There was also some fingerprints that was lifted from the cash register, and it did confirm that those fingerprints were belonging to Austin Drummond. Now, he didn't stop there. So while he was doing his time in jail, because he was convicted for this robbery where he was sentenced to 11 years in prison, he was then released on bond. But here's the thing. You may ask yourself, wait, Savvy, how he's released on bond when he just served a jail sentence? Because he caught an attempt murder charge in jail and they still let him out. That's how. So basically he tried to kill someone in there. They looked at his previous sentence and saying, okay, well, he's already served this many years. It's all right. He tried to murder someone back here. He's a changed man. Let's just go ahead and send him back outside again and let him try to kill someone else. That's basically what the court said. So those charges were pending when he left out of jail. So the charges had stemmed from an alleged attack that he had on an inmate, which further showcased his violent tendencies. Now, it doesn't stop there. Drummond had a long history of self-harm, as well as self-deletion ideations. So according to a 2015 pre-sentencing report, he attempted to delete himself multiple times while incarcerated. He tried to take a string and dangle, okay? He exposed himself to an allergic reaction by eating peanut butter, even while knowing that he was allergic to peanut butter. He attempted to drown himself in a toilet. So these attempts had then led him to have to get an assessment by the Youth Village Crisis Services, though there was no intervention that was deemed to be necessary at the time. What type of intervention did y'all give? There's no way that you've seen a child try to drown himself in a toilet, dangle himself, purposely eat peanut butter, and y'all say that there was nothing found. What type of intervention was this? There's no way that you guys did a proper intervention on this young man. Because clearly, mentally, the elevator has already stopped somewhere midway. And something tells me that the elevator is still on third floor for a 3-year-old. Because his decision-making skills are a little bit skewed. Self-deletion by peanut butter is crazy. That alone lets me know that the intervention ain't intervened. Because clearly something is wrong here. Clearly. So then you also have drug abuse, where Drummond was then diagnosed with cannabis dependence, as well as having an addiction to Xanax as well. Basically, it looks like that they possibly did prescribe him something that he turned into an addiction, like Xans, which often happens. So he did test positive for marijuana while in detention, and it also indicated his continued abuse of multiple different types of substances. Now, the criminal behavior, in March of 2013, Drummond was involved in the vehicle burglary when officers had attempted to arrest him. He had fled on foot, but he was later caught. He was charged with resisting arrest and other offenses as well. In 2013, Drummond was then involved in a violent incident in 2012, where he had assaulted his younger brother, Connor, by choking him, Drummond had fled the scene before the police arrived. Police had later found him sitting in a storage unit. Okay? And he had entered this storage unit without permission. They don't even know how he got in there. Now, and again in 2012, he had some vandalism and drug paraphernalia charges because he cut the screen of a bedroom door and left a home. And police have found drug paraphernalia at his home, which had led to additional charges. He was then ordered to be on an ankle monitor, but he had violated those terms multiple times. 2011, he had a theft and burglary attempt where in 2011, he had shoplifted. Can you guys guess the amount? Let's see what we're thinking here. Remember, we said that it looks like that his elevator stopped at age 3. Okay, that means that his decision making is gone. Okay, he don't really understand how to gauge what's right and wrong. Okay, he's all screwed up. What do you think the amount was of items in which he stole? What do y'all think it was? This gentleman here, Austin Robert Drummond. Thank you, Lolita. 12 likes. Yes, get the likes up. He's a crash dummy. Probably $5 worth. You was like this close. He actually stole items that was worth less than $6 from Walgreens. He was caught after a foot chase. And there was another suspect as well that tried to break a concession stand at Northside High School. So when it comes to his private record, he has assault, resisting arrest, vandalism, drug-related charges, marijuana, and his behavior had ran into this years and years long chase with the authorities, where he would always flee. So basically, when the authorities knew that Austin Robert Drummond was a main suspect in the deaths of the victims, okay, they automatically knew what his plan was going to be, which was to run. Because he has a historical trail of this is what he's going to do. And I don't know if you guys know it or not, but there are people in the world that are long riding criminals. They get a kick out of being chased by the police. Okay, so it seems like that he's one of those people that really got a kick out of it. Now, when it comes to the details of the victims, all right, now Drummond's relations to the victims was very much personal. So he was dating Courtney Rose's sister, and he also had been close to the family. Okay, now the method of these murders point to possibly a premeditated attack, as the family was found shot in their home. The abandoned infant had survived and was left alone and was not protected at any time when the child was found. The child was just alone in this car seat. And investigators are truly trying to figure out, why did he let this child survive? That has not come out as of yet. Those are young teen antics. It is. And the thing is that he took these young teen antics into adulthood. That's what he did. And because you guys did these flawed interventions, flawed therapies, y'all flawed from bottom to top, from when he first walked into the juvenile justice system all the way into adulthood, you guys have flawed. If you was a therapist, a counselor, a judge, a police officer, whatever you were, and you touched his case, you guys have failed badly. Okay, now the authorities did thank the community for his capture, because they said that the community was very vocal when it came down to the investigation, whether it be for giving a background to who the family was, or whether it be reporting when they did see him walking through someone's yard on a Ring camera. People were instantly reporting, so they did give a big shout out to the community out there in Tennessee. Now, after being on the run for multiple days, it was neighbors in Jackson who spotted him, and then they called 911, which led to his ultimate arrest. Okay? Now, when it comes to Austin Drummond, this is another one of those situations where, first of all, he should have never been able to be out. He was due to go back in court literally while he was on the run. And I am one that believe that this baby and this family, okay, and his stay in jail is why this thing happened here. And I'm going to give you the reason why, and which we're going to get into more details of it in part 2. Because the woman that he was dating, she was closely connected to this family, of course, but an employee of the jail in which where he was incarcerated. So I wouldn't be, there's multiple different directions that this can come in from. And the one that I've been pinging on a lot is wondering if this said family member that worked at the prison, possibly being an informant for the authorities on things, possibly because she did lose her job due to all of this, if she possibly was a connection to possibly testifying against him or handing over evidence or something like that. Okay, that's one thing that I've been wondering. Or they are saying that he was part of the Vice Lords and have been since he was a child. And that could be why he chose not to kill the child. Because if you guys know it, he would gain more respect for not killing the child when he goes back to prison. If he would have killed the child, then they would have looked at him different. And we have to think about this person like this. This is a person that is a long-time convict. This is what you call a convict. He does not know how to live in society. He does not know how to, be a productive citizen because he's been living his entire life in incarceration since he was a kid. So he knows what he could do and what he can't do. He knows that if I go to jail for murder, it cannot be for a kid. He knows that. So if that could possibly be a reason why he chose not to do anything to the child, because he did not want that on him when he goes back to jail. Okay? And it may sound crazy, but sometimes convicts will prepare for their time in jail, and they will do it through the crimes in which they commit. They will never do something that they know will be some form of backlash or some form of possible attack from inmates. So they will, do crimes in a way to where they don't walk those lines. Because he's a convict. So he's going to always be thinking in a convict type of way. Yes, he's criminally set for life. Okay. He don't know any other way of operation. In either the family, my thing is like maybe this person that worked at this facility where he was, and they found out that they were dating and she lost her job because of it and things of that nature. Possibly her helping him pull in drugs while he was in there. Because when we get into part 2, you're going to see that he had a very fruitful life while in there. Okay. His pantry in prison was possibly more than some people's pantries in their home after working a 40-hour job. And if you know about the prison life, then in order for your pantry to be set this way, you're considered someone that has a lot of money. You're not poor in there. You're not living, for what you can get or serving other people. 9 times out of 10, people are serving you. In his cell, he had bottles of Ciroc. He had food stacked up that can last him for months. Okay? He was playing a Nintendo Switch in jail. So this is a clear sign of someone who was financially stable while in jail. Now, how could that financial stability, where it could be coming from? It could be coming from the outside, i.e. drugs. Okay. Now, she could have been someone, and this is just my thoughts in the beginning of the case because, of course, this is still developing. She could have been someone who was assisting him. She got caught up, and the police came a knocking. Either you testify for me, okay, or we're going to take you down too. That's the only way that I can think that he would have some form of reason to attack the entire family. Not to mention, he was due to go back to court while he was on the run. He was the man in prison. He was the man, and you can tell he was. And you have to also take into consideration that he had friends who were willing to risk it all to help him. 3, by the way, who were willing to throw away their lives, catch accessory after the fact to first-degree murder charges to assist him. So something tells me that this is not your small-time criminal. While he may look that way, something tells me that he's not so much small time. But as the case continues to develop and we really find out the nooks and the crannies of the motive, because he didn't just go after one person, he went after the whole family. And with him having ties to vice lords, something tells me that this is something that is street level drugs, snitching, something like that. That's what it tells me. So right now, investigators are working to figure out the possible motive. Now, how do they get drugs in jail? Guys, we're in 2025 where they're flying drones into jail in Tennessee. Not just Tennessee, but all over your nations, all over all national prisons. They're flying drones. That's how they're getting drugs in these days. It's not just by someone toting it in through their pockets or putting it in them internally or anything. Now they're flying drones into the yards of your prison, and that's how they're dropping off drugs. So something tells me that this is definitely street. This is not anything, especially since this child was saved and things of that nature. This is giving very much street. This is a guy that all he knows is street. That's it. That's all. So on tomorrow's show, what we're going to be getting into is the nooks and crannies of this family's relationship. We're also going to get into the possibilities of the details of everything of the crime itself. This right here, part 1, is for you guys to see who this man is and how we got here and how the justice system did fail us, because y'all did. Whoever the judge is that decided that it was okay to let him out, whoever approved this or this release of someone who caught an attempt murder charge, y'all basically put someone that had the mental capacity to not only try to off himself with peanut butter, attempt to kill an inmate. Y'all let him out for that, and then turn around and he has killed 4. So he has basically went up the ladder of crime from simple theft of less than $6 to robbery. No, simple theft, assault, robbery, attempt murder, and now murder. He has literally went up the scale from misdemeanor to the ultimate felony on You Guys Watch. Hey, Lysandra, on You Guys Watch, that's what he did. And there is no way that this man should have been able to walk freely anywhere in society. There was no rehabilitation. There was no proper monitoring. Let's not forget that he cut off his ankle monitor and he did not follow through. Let's not forget that part. He also likes to run from you guys. So that lets us know that he cannot follow through with judges' orders. He can't follow through with anything. So why would you put him out here with us? Now, a family of 4 is deceased, including a 15-year-old boy, and a child, a baby, an infant, was left in a car alone in a stranger's yard. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So when we get into part 2 tomorrow, we'll get into all the details of everything with Austin Drummond and what he has going on with himself. Should have never been on the street, ever. Should have never been on the street. Failed badly. Badly. Okay? Also, guys, if you haven't already, I have posted the shows for this week. Part 2 for this is tomorrow. And then there's 2 other shows that is also posted as well. Okay? Once again, I will be over here on YouTube 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Also, please make sure that you guys know that the Royal Lockbox will be returning on Saturdays only, okay? It will be at the end of this month, our first official Royal Lockbox show. Any letters that have been submitted, I think I have about 2 or 3 already. Get your Royal Lockbox letters in. Just email savageroyaltyent@gmail.com, savageroyaltyent@gmail.com. And we're going to do a Saturday show at the end of the month, the last Saturday of the month, for the Royal Lockbox, okay? Make sure that you get your letters in. And I will be on all other platforms throughout the day, whether it be blogging, short videos, or anything like that. Long videos will be coming as well. Make sure that you guys are keeping your notification on all platforms. If you don't follow me on TikTok, follow me over there as well. Savage Royalty ENT is my TikTok, where you will be able to get other cases that is more so short form videos over there. And Facebook is Savage Royalty ENT as well. I will post all of my links on Spaces. If you haven't gotten to my Spaces by Wix, all you have to do is go to savageroyalty.com and become a member and subscribe. When you become a member, you then become a part of the group. You will receive emails to let you know how to get into the group, okay? I will see you guys tomorrow. Yes, get those letters in. I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for watching True Crime with Savage Royalty.